I don't know, give me some names of support players then.
Mac.
Hmm?
Mac.
And others.
Okay, so you have Mac from Unnamed.
You know what, it doesn't matter anymore, we're going into game.
Wow.
Horizon kicking things off with the planning.
This is...
Who else is the support then? I said names plural, you gave me one.
So you have Mac from Unnamed. From Guidance, you're looking at people there like Harris, who's very strong on operators like Maestro as well. You could even throw Blackout in there in a smoke. A couple of choices there from those teams, and even, you know, Wind and Rain, if you want to choose a couple out of them. You have players there like Melons, who very
I remember Melons from Season 1.
Yeah, you know, your choice.
Oh boy, Melons.
You know what, how about we come back to this end of the night?
Okay, sure. What other roles have I got to fill?
I'd go...
I got Flex, 2 fraggers and a support, what else do I need?
Probably go support, or you could go support Flex, your choice.
Well, you've only given me like 3 or 4 names there that fit into the support category, you'd allow me to pick 2.
Get onto the Prem website where you can find out everything you need to know about the players, the teams, and the schedules.
ESL.im.
Oh yeah.
.im, guys, not .pm.
There you go. There's all the stuff.
Our observer absolutely hates me right now, and I love every
the guy who has had to say this and plug this doesn't even use the website himself.
I do. I've done it literally before this broadcast.
Oh yeah.
Look, I tell you what. Right, no one can see this, right? This is the final game of the evening, guys. We're going to talk about everything really important stuff in a minute.
Do I have to cast you showing everybody about your laptop?
No, but I want to show you my notes, because I did take notes, actually, and I went onto the website, and I dug them all up, and I've got it all up on there as well, so I can see everything. See, demo? Here's my proof.
Oh, yeah.
There's your stuff, okay?
Well done.
There you go, thank you.
All right, how about you talk about some of the stuff that's happening in the matchup?
My conscience is clear. Yeah, Wind and Rain versus Horizon Union. Bans that have come through. We've already... Well, Lion being taken away comes as no surprise to anyone there. Mira, again, also no surprise, but Clash. That wasn't banned away last time. Why do you think it's been banned away here?
Well, mostly just because I would say that the way that Horizon have really played out the Clash very heavily, Wind and Rain, they've done their research, they've looked at it and said, oh yeah, we know that they favour the Clash, how about we go ahead and get the bans done? And then also Blitz being gone from for Wind and Rain, they're going to ban that out. So that's going to be a bit of a strange one for me, because they have left a lot more meta operators open. They've left Ying, Blackbeard. They've also left Glaz open as well, which we may see the players of Horizon take up arms with. And also another thing about Horizon, they have had 2 roster changes, because if you did not know, and also Wind and Rain have also had a roster change also, is that we did have the mid-season roster changes, so we did see teams be allowed to sub people in and out and really change your roster. At Horizon, they've made 2 changes. They have brought in 2 players. I believe one is Swedish and one is Norwegian, I want to say, or maybe one's Danish, one's Norwegian. They're Scandinavian, that's what I know. And then also Wind and Rain, a familiar face from last season, Proxa has been brought in. You remember Proxa, don't you?
I saw all 4 names and I was like, oh, I remember these guys. I remember Melons, I remember Speeds, I remember Pat, I remember Proxy as well.
You don't remember Speeds, because Speeds wasn't in there last season.
I swear he was.
Don't know what you're on.
I spoke to him loads last season.
He wasn't in last season.
Maybe he was a spectator.
Because he was 17 last season.
Oh, there you go. Here
but
he is.
I still don't think he would have gotten to.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
No, there you go. And in fact, in week 1, he had a very good performance, because I remember him messaging me afterwards and being like, do I deserve a follow back now? And I was like, okay, sure.
Why'd you give him it? Unbelievable.
Why not, mate? I like to award good play. It's called encouraging behaviour, because now this week
you
should
haven't
pop
played rank
off.
with him. You haven't played rank with him.
I don't play rank with anyone. I won't play with you either.
You play Siege.
I know.
You'd rather play your quintuplet tank.
I don't play that. I barely play Overwatch, man. Come on.
Oh, and you cast as well.
Hey, look.
What kind of caster is it?
No. Have you ever heard the story of Monte Cristo?
No.
One of the best casters in the world. Barely plays the games he casts because he spends more time. He says, I get more efficiency out of spending an hour watching a game and studying a game than playing the game. And you can't deny that's true.
No.
Are you telling me playing in gold for an hour would be more effective than sitting there and watching Pro League?
Playing diamond. You need to get your skill up, bro.
Mate, that takes far too long.
I'm
terrible at shooter games. I lie. I'm not terrible, but it's definitely not my strongest strategy. Strategy? Strategy is my best genre. That's what I was going to say next.
Strategy is about quintuple tank, something like that.
It's not.
Okay.
That's a shooter.
Let's talk about some strategies that we're going to see Horizon try and lay down on a Blue Barn Sunrise defense. And looking at it, as you can see, they're going to try and hold the upstairs as heavy as they can. And Ryazu already starting things off with the castle. Roaming the castle, they have brought those barricades to try and delay the attackers just that little bit more. And this is one thing that we have said, well, I've said anyway, is I believe Wind and Rain are the poorest team in terms of attacking. They cannot attack. It is a proven fact that their attacks have been very, very poor. And I'm sure a lot of people can back me up on that.
Attackers
They have,
recovered the
I think they've won 1 attack round in their entire season. I think so.
That's a bold statement. I'd like to know that stat as well, because that would be very telling.
They have
Probably
won very little.
Admittedly, they are against the other weakest team in Prem, so if they're going to win any, it's going to be in this one. But would you say it was even worse than the series we saw earlier on? I think it was Eminem versus Horizon, where we saw the whole attack was go completely against them, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was Barrage.
Barrage, sorry, yeah, not Horizon. Yeah, I remember. That was pretty bad.
Already the utility being used by the Candelas, and Ying will be inside of the A bomb site, but then again, Buster will be there, and also the Echo drones will also be sent out by No Aim. Ryazu trying to see if he can find a pick, but nothing in the midst of that gas cloud. Trying to hold the corridor, a very common area that you may see an attacker trying to push on in through. Shard unfortunately has left us. We'll see if we get him back in as quickly as we can. But still 20 seconds to go. Echo drones available, gas canisters available, and this is where it starts to get rough for Wind and Rain, because we know that their attacks can fluster and they can panic very, very quickly, and at the moment that is going to be seeming the case at the moment. Shotgun gets pulled out from Buster. He knows that one will be lurking above, and the drop will come in from Prox, but straight away he will get shot down, and Ryazu swings around, stops the plan, and that will be the time ticking down for Wind and Rain, just like we have seen them do every single time they've played Prem.
Well, his name's No Aim, but I think that's a lie, because clearly getting that final kill of the round, even in a 4-team roster, because they already have Shatter disconnect earlier on. So I think by the looks of it, when they come back to us, and then we'll start off with that. There we go, everyone's disconnecting out. So yes, we will. That means that then in that case, we'll get him back in. There'll still be that 1 round advantage coming in for Horizon. Even down a member, they managed to turn things around and win the round out.
Yeah, looking at it, their attack was just so slow. That's the thing about Wind and Rain. I have said it every single time they've played. Pick your attacks up, pick the pace up, or else you will just continually run out of time. And we know in Siege there is a lot of utility that defenders have to stop the time, just like we've seen with the smoke gas canisters, with the yokai drones, and really that's a game set match from there. If you cannot attack inside of Siege with the operators that you're bringing Ying, you're bringing Blackbeard, and you still cannot win an attack, you really need to look at just a hard long look at your team and think, what is happening?
It did feel that way. Even the case at the smoke was doing the right thing, actually just sitting there on the hard anchor as well, holding the position. Sitting the other side of the wall, oh, easy shotgun blast. Someone drops through, oh, easy shotgun blast. It wasn't even really much work for the defense to be put together. It was more a scattered attack with members appearing at different times, not pushing at the same time.
They're not talking.
Exactly.
I've guaranteed Prox just dropped the hatch without telling anybody.
Exactly.
He just dropped the hatch and it's like, oh, he's there. It's like, he didn't tell us you were dropping. You have to communicate and coordinate your attacks when they're not doing that.
And that's what it's all about. So maybe there's some work to be done around that one, but at least a good solid start for Wind and Rain, at least in the opening round, you might say.
Yeah, I would say.
Sorry, no, for Wind and Rain. Horizon, sorry.
Yeah,
other way
Horizon, they had the defense held strong. You know, Horizon know that the weakness of the attacks for Wind and Rain is that, you know, they just can't attack. The time runs down just far too quickly for them. So if they put that little bit extra utility and pressure in that kind of top floor area, it slows down Wind and Rain just that little bit more, gives them more time to work with. And like we said, you know, Ryazu, he got the kill. They seen, okay, we've just killed one of their more important operators who goes to the frags. We can just rotate back to bomb site and hold all the angles, because the only people left are their slow-paced players who just sit and hold angles.
That's something we really need to worry about. So maybe a bit of brushing up to do, and we will get back into game once this reconnection has come back through. Shouldn't be too long. But do you think really the strat here for Wind and Rain as well is, sorry, for Horizon, let Wind and Rain just come with the attacks. You just sit back and take it, because you know it's going to be a bit discoordinated and messy. Soak up those 4, maybe 5 round wins, and then go for your big decisive push after that. Because there's no, it doesn't feel like there's any big need to take risks, you might say, when it comes into this.
No, especially on Coastline, where we've talked about a map which favours attackers very heavily. If you can't even see Wind and Rain win their attacks using these very strong attacking operators on a map which is very attackers favoured, I can very easily see Horizon take this 5-0. And then they have the halftime switch, and then sure, Horizon as well haven't looked too strong on the attacks, but they still have that safety net already being developed by a very big opening scoreline, which I'm sure will go, I'm pretty sure it will go in favour of Horizon. Will have that big scoreline, and then Wind and Rain, they have to just make sure they have no mistakes, because one little step up in a defensive round, whenever you're 5-0 down, or you're 5-1 or 5-2 or 5-3 or 5-4, if you slip up once in any of those rounds,
you're done.
You've lost the game. That's it.
And it's a very strong, tall order, and I think we saw it again back in week 1. We saw it earlier on today as well. If you're giving away those rounds that you shouldn't really be giving away, and you're giving over the 5 and he's set up match point and you're on 0, 1 or 2 map wins yourself, or round wins, the pressure's on for all of those 3 rounds. You have to get it perfect every single time, and that weight of expectation or pressure, it can build on you.
Yeah.
We saw Team Scrum under, even against the Team Secret match earlier on when it ended up being the 5-4 final kind of map round turnaround. And we had the interview afterwards, and Meepy was saying, you know, well, we didn't really say a whole lot. He was quite muted in terms of what he really gave away, but you can see those first 2 rounds, they were like, look, we were quite rusty, we're aware of that. We just had to make sure we respected our opponent and brought it back from there. And it might be the same, might well turn out to be the same story here. We are just waiting for 1 or 2 more players to come back into the lobby, and then we'll be going back into game again. So sorry about the delay. These things happen. Won't be too long.
It's esports.
Just shattered to come back.
It's
He was the
esports,
guy
that's
DC. It is.
Or you call us e-gamers, your choice.
E-gamers, if you're asking the mainstream media, yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, that's us.
We're all
e-gamers, guys.
Us hardy e-gamers here on a Wednesday night on Halloween, sat watching Rainbow Six instead of going out and getting candy from small kids.
I'm gonna stop them there, guys, before this gets.
It wasn't quite that bad, was it? You know,
you're gonna have to go back and rewatch that one.
Did you ever go back when you were younger and just go like, go trick or treating, and like parents open the door with the little kids with some candy in the hand, you'd be like, trick or treat, and the kid looks all scared, would just give you the candy, and you'd be like, cheers, see you later, and leave. No? Just me? It's old people, parents, or kids.
So how about we talk about Coastline, guys? Let's talk about...
We spoke about Coastline for the last hour and a half.
Something relevant. How about we do some of that, Des? Or how about we talk about some of the standings, just going into it, you know, what we're looking at really for next week's prep?
Yeah, we could do. We could work it out.
So, you know, looking at it next week, we have, you know, Unnamed versus Vex being one of the more, I think it's Unnamed versus Guidance and Vex versus Secret, though, you know, with some more top of the table clashes coming up next week still for you guys. So I'm sure that, you know, looking at some of those matches, those will kind of decide those kind of top 2 positions. I believe if Secret take the win against Vex, that's them certified in their first place spot. Nobody can take that off them, automatically qualifying to LAN, and then really from there, it's the race for second, because every single team, you know, that kind of big 5, I would say Barrage, Horizon, and Wind and Rain aren't included in that. Everybody else, yeah, they have a shot at potentially taking that second place.
What was one of the favourite words, or the things that, I remember me and you did a cast together once, and there was something you were constantly saying was being given away. What was it? It's a little...
What?
Do you remember? Something was being given away, and you were constantly shouting about the giveaways for it. I'm trying to use this as a segue here. It's Chibis. You were talking about them all the time. Your Chibi gives away.
I didn't say this all tonight.
Not tonight you didn't, but you said it a lot in the past. We do have a new Rainbow Six Chibi video to show you. Let's take a quick look at that one now while we get these players sorted out. That was one of the most beautifully strange things I think I've ever watched. It reminds me a lot of the old, like, when I was younger, the Florence and the Magic Roundabout. Was that the stop motion animation?
Yeah, stop motion, yeah.
And it's all creepy as hell at the best of times.
I love stop motion. Stop motion is one of my
I like
favorite
it,
animations.
but it can look really creepy at the same time. But then I guess it's Halloween, so it fits quite nicely. In case you couldn't tell,
motions, you know,
huh?
Nightmare Before Christmas, one of the best stop motions.
Yes, yeah, very true. It's just the jarring movement's a bit creepy.
No, I love it. I studied stop motion animation for like a year.
All right, you're a creepy guy, then we'll go with that much. We are waiting on that one final player to get back in, so a couple more minutes and we will be ready to go live. We'll get this match finished and the evening rounded out. But let's talk some more. You love talking. You can talk for England, or for Northern Ireland in this case.
Talk for England?
Yeah. You talk for all of us, mate.
Football, we do some football commentary. Is that what you're saying?
Talk to us all if you really want. Do you want to watch the video?
We could do.
Should you do one more video? Madhouse video coming right up. Beautiful.
I think we are turning into a bit of a madhouse.
Oh yeah, it's getting to that time of the night, isn't it?
What's the pun counter at? What we got at the pun counter?
I don't know. What do we have?
Has production stopped doing that, or?
I imagine they did. They've probably got a bit sick and tired of your joke.
How we doing?
Well, 7 and 6. Wait.
I've made more puns since the last time I said 7.
Don't think you.
I just made one there right now. That should be 8.
For what?
It's a madhouse turning into a madhouse here.
How is that a pun?
Because we just watched the madhouse.
That's not
trailer.
a pun. That's not a pun. That's just a contextual reference. It's not a pun. I need to.
You know what?
You need to learn what a pun is.
You better get ready for these puns then, because I'm gonna have to step my game up.
Please don't.
Oh.
He just said he subtracted one
back.
because of how terrible that was.
This is bias.
But how is it bias?
So bias.
Why is it bias?
I'm from a different country. So bias. You guys are all English here. I'm not, and so you know.
Are you genuinely accusing the production team of xenophobia?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, demo. Okay, let's go back to talking about something you understand. Let's talk about Rainbow Six.
Wait a
In fact, let's talk about the game.
You guys think I understand Rainbow Six? I'm the best poker player in the world. I've been able to bluff my way through this entire season. Beautiful.
Well, that's definitely cheered me up for the evening. Oh, not that I wasn't cheered up before, but now I'm considerably more cheered up. Right, let's conclude this series. Well, we're just pretty much starting it. We are only one round in. Horizon took that first round away despite being down a man. Let's see now if they can turn this one into a nice success streak for themselves after we saw a bit of a scattered attack coming out of Wind and Rain.
So Horizon, they will take their second pick of a bomb site. It will be the kitchen and service entrance. So the kitchen area is what we did see played quite a lot between Guidance and Vex. I'm sure we'll see a bit of the same pressure that Horizon will try and implement, where they have these castle barricades stationed in these very awkward positions for players of Wind and Rain. More than likely, they're going to try and have that roam game and really upset and uproot that entire attacking force, because we know if Wind and Rain, if they lose the first blood, if they lose that first kill, they completely grind to a halt. They turn into a team which just all of a sudden just turtles in. I've never heard of that phobia in my life.
Really?
Never.
Oh, okay. Today we learned. Oh.
There's a reason why I've, you know...
Production's a withering mess. You're confused, and I'm sat here just trying to remain composed.
There's a reason why I didn't do good at school, and instead I'm casting video games. This is the reason why I don't learn these big fancy words. I learn words like maestro.
Okay, we stick with that. It's only 10 letters long though, mate. It's not that big a word, okay?
Well, right. How long is xenophobia? How long is xenophobia?
10. That's what I mean, it's not that long a word.
So you're telling me...
Is your limit like 7?
Look, the Buster, there's the one that's like 10 words, there you go.
There you go, you can do that, can't you?
Yeah.
You understand what that means.
Oh yeah.
It's a player's name.
Yeah.
But you don't understand xenophobia.
Yeah, he is the Buster. He's Ghostbuster. Oh, got you in that one.
Well,
get me a point for that.
That wasn't really a pun though.
Yes it is, the Buster, the Ghostbuster, that's one. Don't just let it happen.
Can we still take, can we duck another point, please?
No.
I feel it's the way to go. We'll have a discussion around what xenophobia really means when the
What have you done to this Prem night? This used to be a very professional league. Now you've like just completely ruined me.
The delay came in, it happened. I gave you the choice of things to talk about.
Yes, and then you completely cut me off whenever I was about to start talking.
What are you on about? I'll let you talk a lot all night.
Right.
No, go ahead, next 2 minutes, 13 seconds are yours.
Back into the match, guys, and already Horizon, they will try and implement that upstairs hold that we know they are so used to. And looking at Wind and Rain, well, they are starting to work their way in towards that penthouse and fear, and of course in towards that VIP lounge. Finally, for the first time, Wind and Rain, they have the upper edge, they have the first blood against Horizon, so this is where we're expecting then Wind and Rain to have that little bit more of the confidence boost, that more morale about it, and we'll see if they can keep their composure, keep it cool, and then finally push their way in and hopefully secure an attacking win for a change.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't opened up more of the upstairs yet, because this has been the common attack that we've seen all night, is literally in the first 40 seconds of the round, you charge upstairs, you open up the floor, you get those vision lines in. It's took them a good, you know, a minute and 40 seconds to make this happen. That's when they've got to start trying to find the kills, they've got to go for the pushes. They're going to find themselves stretched down to the wire, like we saw in some of the rounds earlier on today from other teams, Vex especially, and well, Buster, he should have had that one. He saw Sloth come running across, but Sloth still got the pick off.
So Horizon, they are looking in a bit of a hard spot at the moment. None of them are even going to be on the bomb site, as they have all been forced away by Pat and the sledge holds. Of course, that's where we've talked about the destructibility factor is so strong inside of Coastline. That's why a lot of teams want to hold the upstairs, and this could be the attacking round that Wind and Rain need as Proxa picks up one. However, the Legion inside of Blue Bar manages to fight back. Does eliminate Spades as he tried to push in towards the Blue Bar. No aim, still alive, but oh, great
Beautiful
shot on the Proxa. Very low health, however, as he did take quite a bit of damage from Pat with that Elliot using the sledgehammer. We could see Legion come in pretty big. What a flank and eliminate Sloth. So a very strong round that we fought. Wind and Rain, this could be it. Has turned into a pretty rough spot for them. Sure, Diffuser will go down. They have the upstairs control. Maestro Camera trying to see if they can spot him as much as they can. The Panther has managed to successfully get off the defuse, but does he know Legion's going to be lurking inside a delivery down to Pat? But at this stage, he has the upstairs control. He has the angle. And if he loses this one, well, that will be quite questionable as the impact need comes right below the sledge. And that will be actually Legion. What a ride from, oh my God. How has that managed to happen? That was a 5v3 turned into a 2-on-0. What has just happened?
It's called a stellar defense, and that's exactly what Horizon just showed in spades. But I've got to pull it back to what we mentioned earlier on. Wind and Rain took 1 minute and 40 seconds before they got upstairs and started opening the floor up. Why does it take you that long? I can appreciate you might be worried that there are lurkers upstairs, you don't get caught up by the roamers, you want to clear them out first before you start going for that. But to take 1 minute and 40 seconds to do it when there was no one there giving them any kind of threat, that's incredibly slow and ultimately led to their downfall, it felt like.
So Wind and Rain, this is where I'm just starting to think, what kind of thought process Wind and Rain have? I would love just to sit in their chat and listen to them speak.
And what do you think
I'm just confused.
What do you think they'd be saying right now?
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I imagine they're probably saying, what are you doing? That's probably, I'd imagine, what they're saying to each other, because that should never be a loss in that scenario. You have the Planter going down.
Bomb located.
You have somebody upstairs with the sledge, having this complete vertical line of sight right on down to the diffuser, and somehow they lose that. Why? I don't understand why Pat was straight away holding the angle. I don't know why he wasn't outside of VIP Lounge. He just has to hear the diffuser sound and he runs over. It's a 7-second diffuse. You have plenty of time to listen out for it and then peek around and kill the guy diffusing. Why are you just straight away looking at a diffuser that nobody is diffusing, putting yourself at harm's risk to get impact nade and get killed, which is exactly what happened.
Admittedly, the biggest threat came through when the impact nade did come through, because it opened up that extra hole that he wasn't really prepared for, and just gave him that. I mean, even Alex, it wasn't even the sightline that they had because of the impact line that led to his death. It was the one that was directly onto the bomb that he lost that head-to-head. So like you say, probably a bit of a disappointing result for Wind and Rain, one they would have liked to have won. But Horizon are 2-0 up. Again, going into this next round now, 30 seconds in already. No big changes. It feels like there's a very standard set of operators both teams are bringing out here on Coastline.
Yeah, certainly Wind and Rain looking at them. They have more of, I would say, an aggressive lineup. You know, look at it. They have, I would say, 4 fragging operators there. The only one that really wouldn't expect pushing in, getting kills is Thermite. Certainly IQ, Jackal, Sledge, and Ash can all provide that fragging role. They all have excellent guns, the 5.52, the R4C, L85A2, and also the C7E. A lot of good guns there that can really put a big dent in the majority of this defensive lineup. It's just, can they have the aim to back up those great guns?
Well, one's called No Aim, and he's managed to show at least some aim so far. Some pretty decent aim as well, now that I mentioned as well. There he is in the camera. On the Bandit, you might say. Still a bit of a slow start. No real movements being made, no gunfire coming out between the two teams. Still just a lot of scouting. Wind and Rain 1 minute 30 in now. Now's the time to start making your moves. Either you pinch on those roamers and bring them down so you can start moving in towards the bomb sites, or you start your assault.
Still the Maestro cameras available for Ryazi to try and see if he can find some information about this potential push that may be incoming from Wind and Rain. Still no kills on the board for either side with just over a minute to go. This is certainly looking pretty good for Horizon. They have the utility, they have the gas canisters more importantly, and they have the roamers who can still pose a threat from lurking below. And I'm sure that No Aim will try and do just that. Look at this, 4 players of Wind and Rain have all stacked up. Nobody's even rotating towards the window. I see 2 guys holding the exact same angle. This is not a very good plant from Wind and Rain. It can be very susceptible from below, but we will actually see the gas canisters miss, and the plant has been down, so this will be an immense retake. We'll have to wait from Horizon. They will start things off. Buster gets 1 onto Pat, but still plenty more to find.
And you mentioned how hard it could be to go for these retakes as well. It's not the easiest in the world. Have you actually getting there and pull this one up without anyone actually knowing as well? Buster's in there, but the kills are coming across for Horizon. They're doing it again and turning things back in their favor. There's 1 left alive. Buster goes down though, so that the fuse is stopped, but it's a 1 versus 3. That time is down to about half left as well. They've got to be able to stop him, but he's just causing havoc from above. Almost goes down, but Sloth pulls it back. Defenders will win though. Wow, what a round.
What a round indeed. It was a full 4 versus 4 plant. The retake had to be, actually I believe it was a 5 versus 5 plant in that scenario. The retake had to come in so big for Horizon. Well, so big it did come in indeed. And looking at it, Wind and Rain, the same old story. They have everything going for them. They have the full advantage. Diffuse goes down, but that final execution of defending the diffuser just crumbles away into thin air. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I really don't.
I like that we're seeing quite a few teams tonight go for a diffuser first kind of approach to an attack as well. It's not going there, get opening kills, plant diffuser, defend diffuser. It's getting there, plant diffuser, defend diffuser immediately. It's the same as we saw earlier on in the Vex series, where it took 33 seconds to get the diffuser down in one of those rounds. Another one that went down at about the 2-minute mark as well, so 60 seconds. That round was a bit slower, but once things got into motion, before anyone had died, the diffuser was down. It was just all about the suppression fire, giving room to the attackers to be able to get in there without any disruption and actually get the diffuser down in the first place. So I appreciate the intent, but Horizon still claw away another round. But the thing is, these rounds have been, bar the first rounds, the second and third round have been pretty close. It could have easily gone the way of Wind and Rain.
So we'll be back to the old favourite for Horizon, the Sunrise, and Blue Bar will be taken up by them, and I imagine the same exact strategy that they want to opt for, where they have this strong upstairs hold. They want to try and deny access to Wind and Rain and those more aggressive operators such as Sledge or Buck, which, looking at it, Wind and Rain, they're not even actually going to be bringing either of those ops. Instead, I believe for the first time, we will see Speeds picking up the capo, so we'll possibly see a couple of asphyxiating bolts, could get a couple of kills or 2. More or less going to be used for the utility factor. The whole thing about Capo is he just brings essentially 2 smoke grenades, which cannot be used up by ADSs, which is always a good thing. And of course the Para, one of the hardest hitting assault rifles in the game, and can really melt you in quite a substantial amount of time.
Why is it then, and this is more a curiosity point from my perspective, why is he not picking more if he has those strengths? Because we've always known you have a strong rifle. In fact, it got nerfed, I think, a couple of matches ago. Why is it then that he isn't picked more often?
Simply because there's other operators there which have more utility. Would you rather have a Capo, or would you rather have Sophia? I'm going to stick that to you. What would you rather bring in your lineup?
For me?
Yeah.
Capo, if you've got those guaranteed
smokes. You think you're going to go Capo over Sophia?
They do a very similar job.
Yes, I would semi-agree with that. I think just mostly Sophia, for me personally, she has that soft destruction. She has that ability to play that kind of Ashe role where, you know, she has that destructibility factor. You could use it on the flooring, which we did see Pengu do last time.
Yeah, quite a lot as well.
And I still think that the gun is just significantly better. Has a lot more stable recoil control, and also the fire rate is more substantial compared to what the Capo brings. Ryazu, he does open things up onto Wind and Rain as the main fragger for them. It will be the Ashe going down Proxy, getting eliminated. And this is where I start to fear for Wind and Rain, as we know they always start to slow down after this stage, and they really need to get things moving, get it in the 6th gear, and finally get a point on the board.
So you'd hope, but it's still in that case where it's the 4 versus 4 with 80 seconds or 75 seconds now left on the clock. Diffuser's going down there, that nice cheeky diffuser once again, no real pushback attempt, but there's the one spray down. Back keep finding a nice pick onto Melon, turns into a 4 versus 3. But now the onus is entirely on Horizon to get in there and take this point back and get the diffuse down.
They've done it once, can they do it again? I believe they've actually done it 3 times already with these retake strategies. Legion once again pushing in and around. Claymore at his feet, has to be careful of Ryazu. Eliminate Sloth from above. We can see the potential run out and the jump out come in. But wow, somehow Legion wins that gunfight against Speeds. That should never happen in Blackbeard. Well,
wow, they got him.
Into the meat grinder, and once again, Wind and Rain. Help me out here, Des. Help me out here.
It was so close as well, that diffuse, and literally if they got even one kill and just slowed things down for a second or 2 more, that would have been theirs. But they messed it up big time. I don't know how Wind and Rain can twice in a row be there with 4 or 5 people left alive, the diffuser down, and still lose. It's really kicking them, because now they're 4 down, and we were saying during the break when we had that disconnect after round 1, that for Horizon, it looked like based on how the first round had gone, they'd sweep those 5 rounds. They are sweeping those 5 rounds, but definitely not in the style we thought they would. This has all been on Wind and Rain not executing those final closing moments of the round correctly.
Yeah, Wind and Rain, they are taking what they need to set up for a successful push. They plant the diffuser, and all of a sudden, it's as if somebody has cut all of their heads off, and they are running about like chickens, not knowing what to do. That is how I see Wind and Rain at the moment. It is absurd.
The thing is, even in a couple of situations there, they just lost the 1-for-1 versus 1s. That one, like you said, with the Legion, there was no way he should have lost that 1 versus 1, but he did.
I think he would have died anyway, because they had Ryazu upstairs, who then dropped the hatch and would have got the refrag anyway, so even if that did happen, it still would have went in favour of Horizon nonetheless.
But you got to consider how that's not the only 1 versus 1 that happened there, or not the only kill where they went down that they could have potentially won back. It just so happens that they, I don't know, like, I'm as perplexed as you are when it comes to this, thinking about how they
as well. I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't understand what is happening in this match.
How you can give away all those 5 kills is pretty ridiculous, but it happens.
Like, they have every single player still alive, and then as soon as the diffuser gets planted, it is as if Thanos has snapped his fingers. That is what it's like.
It feels like it goes that way sometimes. Well, let's see at least if they can end the half on a high or on a low still, because they only have 1 round to the 4, but at least bring themselves something back from this. They do find themselves in a situation where it isn't match point for every single round of the other half.
So final round for Horizon. They will be taking up that kitchen once more, and just like we've seen them do every single time, the castle barricades will be brought by Ryazu, trying to slow down this potential push from Wind and Rain. And certainly I would say that the castle barricades hasn't really done much. It's more or less just all about the execution of that final diffuse cover that Wind and Rain just aren't doing. Looking at it, Wind and Rain, they have plenty of ways to deal with the castle barricades. They have sledgehammers, they have the Ashe launcher as well. This should never be an issue. It's all about seeing how they can actually take the gunfights against these players of Horizon. Looking at it, you would say that on paper, both of these teams are very equal in terms of their gun skill. But at the moment, whenever those final executions come down, it's just the upper hand that Horizon really have, because they have those flanks coming in.
Nice slow start once again. Admittedly, still only 45 seconds. There's lots of time for things to get underway. At least we are seeing Wind and Rain get some movement in towards on the far side here. But look at these angles again. Legion, cheeky little areas waiting for some drones to come through their speed. Still got that drone up though, so getting that intel they need is going to force the members back slightly, give some more room to Wind and Rain to start moving up. It's like we said before, they're going to start opening up the ceiling once again, or not. Maybe they wanted to, but Pat's already gone down.
And this is where they lose the first blood. and they just completely slow down. They have no idea what they want to do. They've lost their main entry man with the sledge. They have no destructibility factor on the kitchen. Yeah, this is not going to go pretty for Wind and Rain. And once again, another kill for the Maestro, who somehow wins the battle against the one person who should never lose 1v1 gunfights.
Well, Knowing once again doing work, another kill for them. Down to 2. Ooh, Proxy almost getting one there, but just quite missing it out. No, someone's on the stairs there, but gotta be able to ping him up here as well. Was shattered straight away. He's like, no more of that, thank you very much. I'm gonna rotate back around. He's watching this drop hatch now, actually, where there is someone positioned just above. Not that it matters, because the bus is gonna bring down Sloth into a 5 versus 2. Now, based on how previous rounds have gone, you give this one to Horizon, but also based on how previous rounds have gone, you would have assumed Wind and Rain would have won a few of them, but didn't turn out even when they had the man advantage. Maybe the same happens here, but in reverse.
Don't see that happening, Des.
I don't either. But
honest.
then I didn't see a team of 5 losing a round, so it happens.
No, I don't think we would have ever expected a full 5-man lineup to lose a defuse.
Nope.
To be honest, I wouldn't have expected that a guy who had complete control of upstairs, hatch control, would then also lose that round also. So anything can happen at Siege, and right, so he has the angle, Prox falls, and also Melns will be up to play the same game. Razo will be there, fires a couple of shots over. Thermite versus Castle, 2 FBI operators, and no aim comes in with that Alda once more, eliminates Melons, and this is basically Wind and Rain still not winning their attacks like I predicted, and they are pretty much staring down the barrel of a 6-0 defeat.
Let's see what they can do in defense then. Maybe things work out a bit better for them, because I remember again coming into this, both teams are 0 and 4. Neither has had a good, real, strong, solid performance so far. In fact, looking at most of the members of Wind and Rain, it's only Proxy and Sloth who've got any kills on the board every single moment. Melon, Speeds, and Pat. I say others have had a quiet game today. They've literally been dead silent.
I just haven't turned up. If you don't turn up, you don't win the matches. And that's exactly what's happened to Wind and Rain. And this has consistently happened for them this entire season. There is no doubt about it that Wind and Rain just have not found their stride. They have not looked impressive on their attack. Sure, defense, we may see something different because we know that they are a lot stronger on their defense, but can they prove it against a very scary side of Wind and Rain, or Horizon should I say, and they're going to be taking a very big power pick in the form of the Ying.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Ying's always been an interesting one. Nothing's better than a ghost sign than a bunch of flash grenades going off on the point itself. Why do you think they bought Alibi here, Wind and Rain?
I just think they want to try and have more of that roam game potential where they want to establish that upstairs control. Looking at Coastline in general, there's a lot of benches. You know, look at the bars. You can place one on that blue bar, the Sunrise bar, where, you know, looking at it, if you run in, you would automatically think, oh yeah, somebody's holding an angle at the blue bar. Sometimes it works, but really Alibi, she's never really that strong suit at meta. She's just kind of an operator that sure you can hit, kind of fits under that same role like the Frost that we've seen earlier. Operators like that, those kind of B-tier operators that, sure, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not that impressive compared to somebody else that you could have brought, aka the Vigil.
Very true. We're clearly opting here to just win the different. Bit of surprise in the mix, can sometimes catch people off guard, as we saw earlier on with the Montagna strat against Team Secret. Definitely managed to leave them guessing for at least a couple of rounds until they finally figured things out. But it did lead to a very, very close match. This one, not so close. The final round here, potentially, for Horizon. They've only got to get their attack right once, and this is theirs for the taking.
Still plenty of the round to go, and you can see Sloth has one more Prisma that he may try and use, and Proxy start things off finally in favour of Wind and Rain for the first time inside this matchup. He picks up a quick double kill onto Ryazu and Shattered. And like we've talked about Wind and Rain not being able to attack, we also know that Horizon are a team which have also struggled immensely with their attacking strategies. So we could potentially not see the 6-0. This is where I believe Horizon will start to slow down quite significantly, unless the two new players can start to do some things. Maybe Buster might try and get them a couple of tags, a couple of spots with the drones. But then again, Mute Jammer's perfect counter to that potential drone work that the Thermite may want to try and implement.
But he knows where one is there, spotting him even with the Mute Jammer in the way. Means that they can advance at least a little bit forward, knowing where one of them is. But again, it's 5 members, 5 men alive for Wind and Rain that you've got to watch out for. See what they can do. Horizon still with a minute and a half on the clock, mind you. Those 2 early kills came through very quick, and there's the one return onto the top fragger on the other side. Sloth is down.
No Aim trying to see if he can find anything for himself, but doesn't really manage to land anything through the wall. What a shot, but in the kind of crossfire from that, we will see Buster being downed as Proxa will continue his reign of terror. But no, Proxa, 4K for him, potentially could be on for the ace, down to No Aim inside of a 1 versus 3.
There we go.
Proxa knows that there may be somebody else lurking upstairs. A couple of active tags from a drone being stationed will be brought out by Proxa. 45 seconds on the clock for the ace. Can his debut provide his team with an ace? Shots rattle back and forth. Candela gets tossed out, but quite smartly Proxa knows not to fight that battle. But does he know that Yang's going to come in from behind? Shots rattle out, 2 bullets, but no way will stop the ace into a 2 versus 1. Could we see the clutch come in from this Yang? Still plenty of rounds in the magazine. Does he know that there will be alerting speeds or Melons inside of some of these corners area? Melons has those goo mines as well. ADSs will soak up all of the Candelas. 15 seconds to go. This will be one miraculous clutch. Goo mines go off, and really from this stage, everybody from Wind and Rain know where he's going to be coming from. Shots rattled back and forth between the 2 LMGs, but in the end, it will be Legion getting the better edge against No Aim. And well, Wind and Rain, they don't get 6-0'd. But a 5-1 is still not a very impressive lineup, leading into still you at your back foot.
It's still a very tall mountain to climb, a very long road ahead for Wind and Rain, but at least it's a point on the board to show and give themselves, not just others, but themselves the confidence that they can win rounds when they pull things together. But you had a couple of moments where, again, where it was still sweaty under the collar there because they were still 5 men alive against, I think it was 3, and they found themselves going down into a 2 versus 1 situation. Not really the kind of advantage you want to be throwing away.
No, certainly something that you want to just keep as cutthroat as you can. You want to keep it clean, want to keep it tidy. And really, you know, for a lot of teams, if you manage to walk away with a 6-0, you have took as many minimum rounds that you've needed to actually take a win. And because you've played less rounds, it shows less strats for teams to actually use and abuse against you. So that's always another option why you may want to just go all in, play 6 rounds, and there's only 6 rounds that your next opponent could ever use against you. And that's where I kind of think that the playoff week will be immense in terms of the kind of strat and preparation that teams will really need to do, because that decides a land spot, and everybody always wants to go to land, because not just because of competition, but because it is just such a good time on and off the screen.
And that's the thing, like, for both of these teams, is that they know that a win today can lead to that. They know that it can lead to you climbing towards that 6th place spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If Horizon win this matchup, they go above Barrage after 1 win. And they go against Barrage, who have had 2 draws as well. It just kind of shows the score difference. And then you kind of look at Barrage and think,
Attackers have recovered their
okay, Barrage, you guys can need the points back with a win here. But still, after this play day, still 2 more weeks to go. Yeah, those 2 play days looking pretty big, especially week 7. It's going to be massive in terms of playoff spots.
Absolutely, and that's the scary thing, because some of the teams, I think it was one of the teams in the final week has Team Secret.
Yeah.
Team that begins with G.
Guidance.
That's the one, Guidance. I was going to say Guardians, I don't want to say Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
But it's Guidance, correct. Guidance have got to play against them, and I feel they're going to have a very big strain next week, so they've got to win next week or they'll find themselves potentially slipping out of that top 4 spot. Now, it's very unlikely they'll slip too far down because they're still second, they've got 8 points. For either of these 2 teams to catch up and knock them down into one of these bottom spots it's impossible unless everything goes super well this week for them in terms of they win this week, they win next week, and they win the final week, and Guidance lose every single one of their games. Chances of that happening are slim to none.
So Horizon, they are poised with their attack, and nothing really happening at the moment. They have got No Aim in a very good position. Having somebody inside of Kitchen does shut down those kind of rotations that gives you more of a leadway into the bomb sites, and especially as a Ying, where you could just explode yourself right on into most of the action with those Candelas. You can walk straight in. Yeah, it's going to be looking pretty good for Horizon. They have started to stack up in towards that office area, so the B bomb site will be the area that they want to attack. More drones being sent in by Buster, as Rayazi is going to be this first man up to see if he can get some fragging kills, and he does see 1. But no, the blanks come in, and Sloth will be there from the main stairs. Eliminates Rayazi. Sloppy droning from Horizon has really let them down in this scenario. Shatter trying to see if he can go and finish off where Rayazi could not, but even he gets a couple of shots fired into him. No Aim kills Pat. Shatter sees 1 run up the stairs. So still 4 versus 4. But looking at it, Sloppy is very low in health, and so is Shattered.
And again, don't forget, the Sloth is the big KDA player for his team right now. They need to stay alive and be getting those kills for them to keep the dream alive. Proxy goes down, that's another big player going down. Sloth gets the return kill though. Again, onto the biggest fragger coming through for Horizon. So suddenly, things are looking a bit better for Wind and Rain, you'd argue, even though their health bars might not suggest it.
Buster looking to see if he can just spot out anybody from above. Of course, the destructibility factor is very big inside of Blue Barn. The fuse will try and be implemented, but speed should be there with those Echo Drones. That will be the case before No Aim manages to find a massive kill onto the smoke. Sure, Speedy has the Echo Drone, but nobody's going to be protecting him inside of the bomb site. But double Echo Drone placement will be there. This could be massive for Wind and Rain, but no! No Aim pushes on in, stops the Echo. Sloth from above opens up a hole for himself, kills the Planter. 2 versus 1. The players of Horizon need to scamper in. Shari's missed the sledgehammer. The defuse has to go in. No Aim has to cover as well as he can. Plant will go in. Sloth kills No Aim. This could be the clutch, but no, the castle barricade will be there. Stop up. Shots go in. Rattle back and forth. Shard for the win for his team. Impact Need gets rid of the castle barricade, gives Sloth another angle for himself. Where will this go? Shots rattling in, back and forth. Sloth has no idea where Shattered will be located. Has to go for the reload. Shattered, he knows that his double blind will be the option. Goes for the probe. Oh! Go for the probe. And Sloth, he gets a clutch for his team. He gives Wind and Rain another fighting chance. What a round between both of these teams. And my oh my, Sloth with the clutch salvages something for Wind and Rain. Oh my god.
What a hero. We said it when he went down to about 1 or 2 HP. We said he needs to stay alive for his team. He's the big KDA player for them. He's got to remain alive through this round, and he pulls it all the way back with a slither of health, getting the final 2 kills, getting the defuse in, quite literally keeping their hopes alive. 11 kills. The next is then Proxy on 6 and Melons on 1, and Speeds and Pat are still yet to make a name for themselves on the board. Really, really impressive stuff coming out of Sloth. And we keep on saying it's a long road to the top. They've got to win 3 rounds on the bounce here if they want to tie and take a point away from this series. But you still write it off as saying it's highly unlikely. But you just have that feeling that the underdog can climb up and bring this to a comeback. That's how close this can get.
Hookah Lounge and Billards is where Wind and Rain will have to go for their next bomb site. This will be their third picked one. It has already seen the kitchen and the sunrise prove pretty well for Wind and Rain. Can this top floor do any better for themselves? And they really need this. You know, we talked about the attacks from Horizon have been very lackluster. We're starting to see that again. It seems to be that just neither of these teams can attack.
No. Good at defending, considerably less so at attacking. Seems to always be the answer, but again, it's just 1 round, guys. It's 1 round that you've got to win to take this whole thing away, Horizon, and you're not so much letting it slip through your fingers, but you're down 2 rounds, and that's always a risky situation to find yourself in. Yes, it means there's still 3 more rounds to go, but you've given the momentum over to the other side to start clawing this one back. But now we're heading up onto the 2nd floor once again, crossing the way of where we would usually go, or where we think of going if we went towards Penthouse instead. Let's see how the attack works out for Horizon this time. No Aim has been a big player for them, so it's big. I'm looking out for both of these guys now to see what they can do.
So they have brought, again, the similar lineup that they did bring time and time again. I believe it's the exact same lineup that the Horizon have brought. They have, you know, all the utility tools that they need. They have the hard breach, which again, like we've talked about, isn't that necessary for Coastline. You know, you look at it, if you're, you know, from your team's standpoint, and you're a Thermite player, I would just like, for any Thermite guys out there, to count how many times you've actually got off a Thermite charge on Coastline. You'll be amazed to see that you actually don't use it that often, and you could fill that role with something a lot stronger than the Thermite. Sloth, aggressive spawn kill, eliminates Ryazu. What a risky play, but thankfully nobody was there with the follow-up. And Sloth does manage to get away with his life.
Fan on the dock as well, give himself some of that sweet overheal, at least at least temporarily. And now we're finding himself in a spot where he's literally trying to clutch the hell out of the final moments of a round on 10 HP, because he doesn't have that dock. Only got the 1 stim left, mind you, but at least it's something to play with. So now they're going to find themselves in the situation where they're in the man advantage. Now, we've already seen this once this series, where they throw away a man advantage and give the round away to Horizon. But Horizon, their attacks haven't been super convincing so far. They've been close, but not convincing enough to secure a win. And again, it's still just 1 round win for them to take it back.
Still half the round to go for Wind and Rain and Horizon, and like we've talked about from both these teams, whenever we see the first blood go in favour of the defenders, but no aim, who has been an immense player for Horizon. This new pickup during that mid-season time has proven so big. No aim will also get rid of the Maestro camera, which does keep Vermit alive just a little bit longer. No aim eliminates one, but no, Speed swings on around. Finds no aim, Speed finds two. 1 versus 2, however, is Shattered, has also got one onto Sloth. Speed's inside of a 1 versus 2, shots rattle back and forth. Sophia has managed to find herself inside of B-Bomb. A-Bomb will try and be where they will try and find out where this Maestro will be, and that will be all said and done. And finally, Horizon Union, they get the win that they so dearly needed. They take the win against one of the other weaker sides inside of the season, and well, Horizon, they have shot from dead last into a playoff spot.
It was a lot scrappier than maybe they would have hoped for, giving away those 2 rounds towards the end there, almost losing away the 3rd as well. Maybe not the most dignified victory. Maybe they would have thought this is a 6-0. We've had a fantastic first 5 rounds, but didn't manage to close it out towards the end. However, all that counts is that win on the board for those guys. That's 3 points to them, and as you say, it elevates them, for now at least, into a playoff spot. So well played by those guys. Pretty solid game overall, you got to think, as well. And again, some big players coming through. No aim especially, really surprising me.
Probably one of the best moments I think we've had there in terms of hype. It was definitely not that penultimate round.
Slot.
It was pretty good, I must say. You wouldn't really expect stuff like that from these matches where it's so close, so neck and neck. Really, those defensive rounds for Wind and Rain, so close, down to the wire, time and time again, but still, inevitably, Wind and Rain beat themselves on the attack.
Well, let's take a look at a few replays as well, in case you did manage to miss that whole map. Somehow you missed a fantastic series overall. It all started off looking very shaky, at least initially, because Wind and Rain, as you said, very uncoordinated. Their attacks didn't really look together. They were just dropping on top of Horizon, basically, and giving them free kills all day long. And this is that horrible situation where, despite having 5 men left alive, they still couldn't pull around back. And here, the defuse off the left-hand side, the kill down the bottom, nice and easy cleanup for them once again. And we got ourselves going all the way in to that 5th round where they managed to close the half out at a 5-0 advantage. The real question then goes into where I went to the second part demo, and a lot of this is where it started going wrong for Horizon. Do you think it was a similar situation of they were miscoordinated on their attacks as well, or just employing the wrong strategy to try and attack the point that they were trying to siege?
I would still say communication is absolutely key for both these teams, and they just didn't do that. That is the bottom line why I think we see both these teams losing their attacks, is not really down to their utility play, it's just the fact that they cannot get refrags. I talk about so many times the refrag potential that you just so need. Once somebody in your team drops, you need to be there to get the kill. Perfect example was whenever Sloth did that spawn peek in that final round. Killed Ryazu, and Sloth got away with that. That should never happen. The refrag should be there. But no, just a perfect example of really what these two teams, who are the weaker sides, really need to prove pretty big. And, you know, looking at it, Barrage, they still have to play Horizon as well. So, it will be a pretty good matchup. So, we're kind of seeing more of the bottom of the table fights coming up very